So why is Tony Robbins so popular? Now, he's been for decades going around the world, millions of people, all the countries in the world, talking to everybody, bringing out these unbelievably deep lessons to help people live better lives. The amazing thing is about his content that even though recently he went into the world of money and how money works, he's been largely explaining and showing the same context, the same concepts in a bunch of different varieties, the same ones over all of these years. And he's always having huge audiences, and people are always being profoundly impacted by their work, by his work. I'm one of them, right? And the big question really is, what is it about him, in my estimation, that makes him so popular and so practical? Is the fact that people really want to make a change, and people really appreciate things that are not theoretical. People really want to see the practical steps that can be taken in one's life in order to get you the outcome. So the interesting thing for us to consider today is that we all have goals, we all have desires, we all want things. Now, what are those things? How do we know what we want? I mean, that's a fairly typical question that people ask. How do I know what I want? So the answer is, well, what direction does your heart tell you to do? Now, interestingly enough, I think our heart knows exactly what we want, but we've been beaten down by society and we've been told no so many times, and we're so afraid of failure that it's hard for us even to articulate. We're just naturally interested in different stuff. Some people look at sports and it naturally draws to them. Some people look at spirituality and religion and it draws them. Some people feel drawn towards entrepreneurship. Some people feel drawn towards social media. Art, what kind of art? Martial arts, like what? We all have these things where if we would think to ourselves, like, well, what do I really want? And if you pair that with the question of what if you could do anything without being afraid of failure, interestingly enough, you can find within yourself all kinds of answers that you've been looking for. And you might go to this guru and that guru. Reality is the only thing that keeps us from knowing what we want is we have this fear of failure, and we don't feel that we're necessarily entitled to the happiness that we want. So the value here and the why it's so amazing to look at the style that Tony Robbins has. You listen to his stuff, listen to anyone's stuff, but what you're trying to find when you listen to an expert is how you can practically translate it into your own life. The amazing thing about the internet is that there's no shortage of information. A person can be busy all day long consuming content. Trust me, I've done it. But what we do need is what's going to cause us to create action. So the action is challenging because you might not know what the right steps to take are. The information is easy, but it stays completely theoretical. What did we mention was the thing that stops and helps create the breakthrough? It's breaking through your fear. It's breaking through the limitations and the mindset that you have. And that's really the area where I feel that Tony Robbins has been so successful, is helping people pragmatically and practically break through the fear that holds them back. And if you're able to think for yourself, then therefore, what's the takeaway? When you're looking for influencers, when you're looking for people to be influenced by, you have to ask, are they going to help me translate the knowledge that they're giving into practical action? And if they're not, how am I going to find that bridge? And I think that that's ultimately what's going to make information in our day and age the most effective. It used to be back in the old days, people didn't want a greater life. Now we have access to so many different things and facilities and tools. We know that it's possible to have a greater life. But the question is, how do I do it? And that's where the real old person kind of, the old, what's inside of us, the human nature pops up, which is this sense of disillusionment, this sense of negativity, this fear that we have to stop us from going after what we want. And so that's why what we really need for the new generation of thought leaders is how do you actually help people take the practical steps to break through the fear, to break through their limiting beliefs, and to embrace whatever they know that they want internally.